Hello guys, today I'd like to show you my implementation of the Field Tuff 12 volt 80 pound hitch mount spreader that I bought online. And what I wanted to do is mount this in a way where I actually have more control. So instead of mounting it on the back of an ATV, which is what this is designed to do, I mounted it on the front of my tractor. And this allows me to see where the broadcast, the seeds or the fertilizer are being broadcast. I can turn on my front light to actually shine a light right on the fan of seeds coming out or fertilizer coming out, so I can actually see where they're ending up if I do it at dusk. So what I did to mount this, first of all, assemble the gadget together. There are a few videos out there on how to do this, and the instructions are pretty clear. You'll see right away that the shield that comes with it is pretty small and makes a mess. So I just fashioned this shield out of simple aluminum. Ductwork aluminum, and it's easy to work with, cut with pliers and bend with pliers. So this provides a much better fan of the material. Also, so to mount it, what I did is I used all of the hardware that it came with, which was this hitch mount bar. And what I did is I essentially put a bolt that goes through these existing holes on the front of the tractor underneath, and made it go through the existing hole of the hitch mount and then off to the other side. And then to hold it up, I fashioned this bracket, which is pretty crude at the moment, and I really wanted to see how it works out. What I might do is weld some more supports. As you can see, it's just folded over at the top here, but what I might do is weld some supports that go from here to here, so that way it prevents us from bending. But it actually seems to be doing a pretty decent job right now. So the idea is that this is somewhat removable. You do have to use some tools to do that, to remove this bolt right here, and then this comes out just like for all the other implements, and then the whole thing comes out. It does come with a remote control for the gate as well as for the electric motor. So what I did is I used the bracket that it came with and basically bolted it on the side of the tractor right here. So as you can see, this is the lever to open the gate, and then the switch. Again, all of this wiring comes standard with the spreader. To mount this, I simply removed one of the existing bolts right here. See if I can get some light over there. So I removed one of the existing bolts and used one of those, and then I just added another bolt there by drilling the frame of the tractor and add another bolt right there. It's meant to be somewhat temporary so that it can be easily removed, and then this is just simply wired to the battery. It comes with a connector so that you don't have to undo it from the battery terminals. You can just undo the connector, undo all the bolts, and the whole thing comes out. I think that this is probably going to live on the tractor for the whole summer anyways, because I plan on fertilizing and definitely applying lime on a pretty regular basis. So as you can see, it's a pretty clean implementation, and it allows me to control both the gate and the motor on and off from here. I might I've considered using a motor controller, a speed controller, to slow down the motor itself, but I don't know if I'm going to do that. What I did do is, I don't know if you can see it, but I had to fashion a little bracket that essentially helps to stir up the material on the bottom here. What I found is that as the material was getting to this lip right here, it would just basically not come out anymore. There are no vibrations here really unless you're going really fast. So typically on a ground-driven spreader, the vibrations themselves kind of shake the material loose. Since there are not really that much vibrations here because you have to go kind of slow, the material just wasn't going anywhere. So what I did is, this comes with, I'm going to remove it, but this comes with a cotter pin that is already inserted on the motor shaft right here, that you see right here, and that is their that is their thought, or their plan on how to stir up the material. Obviously, it doesn't work. So I fashioned this little bracket here, pretty crude, again, just using scrap materials that I have laying around. And initially I made it with these two wings, 1 and 2. It goes around the axle, and then the cotter pin itself keeps it in place. But again, I found that it wasn't really moving that much material. So what I did is I added this little wing right here. You can see that, again, I didn't bother rebuilding it. I just added onto it. And so this it sits like this on the axle, and it has this lip on the bottom that kind of stirs up the material, and then this very tiny lip here that see the profile, that again is meant to make sure that the material is moving. The added benefit of having this bracket with a wing on one side of it is that it does cause a little bit of vibration of the spreader. So that tiny vibration does help the material move a little bit. That's about it. Again, the only other modification I might make here is add a speed controller for the motor, but I do want to try it. What I'm doing is I'm using pelletized lime, which is cheap and inexpensive to play with, and see how that spreads. And then if that works well, I will move on to using the expensive fertilizer and such. As you can see, when I tried it earlier on, it made a little bit of a mess, actually not that much, so that's what prompted me to add, to make this shield bigger. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this, and again, if you want to see this in action, wait for upcoming videos. Thank you.